Tate Britain to show William Blake's wife at the heart of new exhibition. William Blake was the creative visionary behind some of the great works of British art and literature. But would he have achieved? Tate Britain is to stage a blockbuster Blake exhibition which will put his wife, Catherine, at the heart of the picture. It will show how Catherine contributed to Blake's career both directly, as the unacknowledged hand that colored some of his illustrations, and indirectly, by dragging him out of his perpetual art student existence and telling him he needed to earn a living. William Blake was the creative visionary behind some of the great works of British art and literature. But would he have achieved? Tate Britain is to stage a blockbuster Blake exhibition which will put his wife, Catherine, at the heart of the picture. It will show how Catherine contributed to Blake's career both directly, as the unacknowledged hand that colored some of his illustrations, and indirectly, by dragging him out of his perpetual art student existence and telling him he needed to earn a living. At times, she took drastic action. Blake's extraordinary vision was dependent on the domestic stability of his life with Catherine, Tate said. Blake acknowledged his wife's support and produced a sketch of her, which will be shown alongside a striking pencil drawing of the artist, thought to be a self-portrait, owned by a U.S. private collector and never seen before in the UK. The illiterate daughter of a market gardener, Catherine married Blake in 1782 and became an accomplished printmaker while also looking after the home. Her husband was left. Blake did not find great success in his lifetime, and it was not until he was taken up by the pre-Raphaelites that his posthumous reputation grew. Amy Concannon, the show's co-curator, said Catherine's role in his career had been sidelined in favor of the idea that Blake was a lone artist genius. She said Catherine was a huge, stabilizing, supporting and level-headed influence on Blake. She was the keeper. She apparently always kept a sovereign hidden in the house just in case he didn't get any work, so there was always something there. She also, Catherine colored illustrations for Blake's Pilgrim's Progress 1824-27 in a book, The Complaint, and The Consolation Night Thoughts 1797. The exhibition, which runs from September 11, 2019 February 2, 2020, will recreate the room above the Blake family's hosiery shop in Soho where he exhibited some of his works. 2 illustrations, of Admiral Lord Nelson and William Pitt, will be digitally enlarged and projected 100 ft high on Tate's walls. Blake envisaged them. Martin Myrone, lead curator of pre-1800 British art at Tate, said the exhibition will put the emphasis on Blake as a visual artist. Of course he's fantastically well known as a poet and many people know Tiger, Tiger, or the words from Milton, which we know as the hymn Jerusalem, but this show is part of a shift within scholarship on Blake, which has started to emphasize the primacy of the visual within his output, he said. Copyright Telegraph Media Group Limited 2019.
Raindrop, drop top, top smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park pot.